Hi folks, I'm Peter Lemieux with Rounding Third. I tell baseball stories. I think I got a great one today. It really kind of reflects on these things in life. You know, at my age, I'm doing a lot more looking back than looking ahead. But when I look back, great things that happened to me usually did not occur on special days, like my birthday or Christmas or something like that. They were just an average day. I was doing what I always do, and then something really good happened to me. And that's what this story is about today, an average day where something amazing happened. So I start my story way back, July 2nd, 1963. It was a Tuesday. It was just an average day in baseball. The Milwaukee Braves were playing an away game in San Francisco against the Giants. The game started at 8 p.m. Pacific time. The significance of that means nobody east of the Mississippi River will know who won that game. There was no ESPN, there was no internet, there was no baseball reviews of the day. What people on the East Coast had to do is they got a newspaper in the morning. And when there was a West Coast night game, what is said in there, Milwaukee at San Francisco night game, meaning when they printed the paper, had no idea who won the game. And you would never find out unless you had an afternoon paper or somehow you had some way of following sports. So it was a game that was only going to be recognized in the West Coast, and majority of people back then were East Coast baseball fans. So the game had relatively little significance. It was July 2nd. I mean, the pennant races hadn't really heated up. The Giants were a game and a half behind St. Louis. Milwaukee was further back. They were like 6 games back, and they were never going to be a contender anyway. However, almost 16,000 people showed up at this game because of the pitchers. The Braves were pitching their perennial ace, Warren Spahn. Now, the issue with Warren Spahn, though, is in 1963, he was 42 years old. Warren Spahn pitched in the majors for 21 years, his last year being when he was 44. Every year with the Braves except the last year when he went and signed a contract with the Mets, who then traded him to the Giants because of his age. Warren Spahn retired after 21 years with 363 wins and a career ERA of 3.09. To say he was the ace of the Braves for his whole career would be putting it, it would be underselling how great he was. However, on this Tuesday night, Warren Spahn was 42 years old. He was facing the Giants ace, a fellow by the name of Juan Marichal. Juan Marichal was only 26 years old. He was in the midst of a season where he would win 25 games. Juan Marichal won in his career 25, twice, 26. He ended up retiring after only 16 years with 243 wins, a 2.89 ERA. Both these pitchers are in the Hall of Fame. So we had the young ace with the Giants against the old-time pro with the Braves. If we could get a video, you would see that both these pitchers pitched with a very high kick. Their leg would come up quite high as they delivered the pitch. So fans in San Francisco, 16,000 middle of the week is probably pretty good attendance. And the game started, and just both guys were on their game. I mean, Warren Spahn only struck out 2 people the whole game, but they're just hitting them right at people. The only real threat at a score, well, there's a couple of them. In the 4th inning, the Giants had runners on first and second with 1 out. Pardon me. It was The Braves had runners on first and second with only one out. And a guy by the name of Dennis Menke got a single. Norm Larker was on second, and he got thrown out at home by who else? Willie Mays in center field, snuffing that scoring threat. The Braves never threatened to score again. Marichal was on his game. Meanwhile, the Giants were doing no better. In the ninth inning, Willie McCovey thought he won the game by hitting a home run down the right field line that the umpire said curved foul. McCovey argued vehemently, saying he hit the ball too hard for it to curve that fast. But the umpire's ruling stood. McCovey went out, and at the end of 9 innings, the score was 0-0. So in the 10th inning, Marichal went out to pitch and got them out. Spahn, being a very stubborn, competitive 42-year-old, said, if he's still pitching, I'm still pitching. And he went out and got the Giants out. They did that again in the 11th, the 12th, the 13th, the 14th, the 15th, and finally we started the 16th game, 16th inning. Marichal went out to pitch and got the Braves out. Spahn refused to come out of the game. In the bottom of the 16th inning, on Warren Spahn's 201st pitch, Willie Mays hit a home run. Game over, 1-0. We had witnessed a game into the 16th inning. Marichal pitches 227. Both pitchers pitched either 15 1/3 or 16 innings. Marichal gave up no runs. Spahn gave up that one run in the bottom of the 16th. There has never been a baseball game that was like that before, where two pitchers pitched a 15-inning shutout, and it resolved in the 16th inning. And none has ever happened since. With the pitch control we put on pitchers now, you can safely assume that this event was a once-in-a-lifetime event. Two Hall of Fame pitchers pitching shutouts. The game decided by a Hall of Fame batter hitting a home run, that same batter throwing a guy out at home. And no one knew about it on the East Coast. But it has gone down in history as one of the best pitched games ever. They looked around to try to find if another pitcher ever pitched a 16-inning shutout. They found out that the Giants had a pitcher named Gaylord Perry a few years later who pitched a 16-inning shutout. But at the end of 16, it was still 0-0, and he came out of the game. And the game was decided later, like in the 20th inning. Gaylord Perry left the game to a standing ovation from the fans that were left for 16 shutout innings. And he said his arm was so sore he couldn't wave to them with his right hand. He waved to them with his left. However, Marichal and Spahn, after pitching that many innings and that many pitches, met their normal starting assignment. They didn't take any extra days off. They met their normal starting assignment down the road. In 1963, at the age of 42, Warren Spahn pitched 259 innings. He finished with 23 wins and a 2.60 earned run average. Marichal had 25 wins, 241 earned run average, and are you sitting down? 321 innings. This is an incredible pitching matchup. It happened on an average day, July the 2nd, with half the country not even knowing that it happened. So this is a great picture in history. It is my hope that that game never, ever gets forgotten. That's why I tell stories. You folks who are senior citizens like me, tell your children, tell your grandchildren about Warren Spahn and Juan Marichal in 1963. Let's not let this day go unforgotten. That's my story. It's a pleasure sharing it with you. Tell me your stories. Subscribe, like, tell me a story of a great event that you are aware of in baseball that happened not in the World Series, not in the playoffs, but just on an average summer day. That's what makes baseball so beautiful. So thank you for joining, and everybody have a great day.